Welcome, friends. Today it's all about this Presto Digital Canner. I'm going to show you exactly how I am using it in my kitchen. I just got this. I'm so excited. So let's do an honest review of this product and I'll show you exactly how it works. So here are the parts to the canner. There is the pot that comes out that you put the water in and the tray that holds the glass jars. There is the weight. This is the canner, the digital canner. I've always used Presto canners, but this is the first time I've used the digital one. And then this pot goes right inside there. It's very nicely made. You just slip it right in. And it will hold up to 8 pint jars, and it looks like about 6 quart-sized jars, 6 or 7. I haven't done the quart yet. But included is this canner book with detailed instructions, and I highly recommend you read the whole thing, and it even has recipes in it. This is my favorite. This is a laminated instruction quick start guide for a water bath canning. It tells you each step, and then on the other side is the pressure canning, and I taped this up on my shelf right by the canner because this is the first time and I want to follow the directions. So this canner will do pressure canning, and it will also do water bath canning, and it heats your jars up before you start canning, which I love that feature. So you can do vegetables, tomatoes, meat, poultry, fish, seafood, and spaghetti sauce. And if you want a water bath can, of course, you can do your jams and tomato products. So let's get started with corn today. I picked up a bushel of bicolor corn at my favorite produce stand. And we're going to pressure can that for the very first time in this Presto Digital Canner. So I have my jars in. You fill it to the fill line with water, and then you fill your jars halfway with water. So we're going to heat those jars up right in this canner while I process the corn. Now, as a little bonus, I'm going to show you exactly how to pressure can corn. First step, of course, is to shuck it, and I just cut off that stem end and then just quickly shuck the corn. Very easy, and this corn was beautiful. I didn't find a single worm in this corn. I love this bicolor corn. It comes out of Georgia. It's always beautiful and tastes delicious. So after everything gets shucked, we're going to go ahead and wash. So everything has been shucked. I've removed as much of the silk as possible, but now I'm going to take a washcloth and just scrub each ear, getting all of those little loose silks off. So I scrub each ear individually because I do not like silk in my corn. And I'm just using some cool water to rinse and get these nice and clean. Now for pressure canning, I am going to be raw packing. So I did not blanch the corn first. So I have my corn set up. So there is the canner. We're getting ready to plug that in and start warming those jars. There is the quick start laminated guide I told you about. I've got it taped right next to the counter so I can follow those easy directions. So let's go step by step and see exactly how we can pressure can in this canner. So I really like this feature of the canner, and that is putting your jars in and getting those preheated. So that is a plus for me because usually I use 2 different pots, one to heat the jars up and one to do the canning. So I like this process, putting those jars in, putting the lid back in, and all you do is press a button and it starts heating the jars up so they're nice and hot when you're ready to start packing the jars. So I'm just going to lock this down in place. Like I said, this is the first time, so I'm getting used to all of the knobs and how to turn those. But very easy, just put the jars in, plug it in, and according to the directions, I am following the blue ball book of preserving on how to preserve corn, pressure can it. I always try to follow that. I'm not a rebel canner. So we're going to go ahead now and program this to begin. I am going to be doing this corn according to the directions for 55 minutes. So I go ahead and set my canner for 55 minutes, then hit the button, and the first process is to heat up the jars. So now it's on back to the corn. I am going to just take this right off the cob with a very sharp knife. I like to use a bundt pan to catch the kernels as I scrape them down the sides. You don't want to go too deep into your corn. If you're making cream style corn, you would go deep and try to get that corn milk. But I am actually just scraping off the top layer because I just want whole kernel corn for this. So now I'm ready to pack jars. I've got my lids in hot water. My rings have been washed. I've got vinegar and canning salt ready to put in each jar. I've got my debubbler, my new canning funnel. I love this funnel. I got it off of Amazon. It fits right over the jar. There's all that beautiful corn that's been cut off, and now we're ready to pack a jar. So everything is set up, and this time I'm using my little instant teapot to bring that water to a quick boil. Just makes for a little bit faster process in canning. All right, now it's time to remove those jars. The canner says it's ready for the jars to come out. So I'm moving my gauges over and lift up the lid. And I'm going to take out a nice hot jar. Now it says to empty that water out. So I am, and then I'm going to fill the jar with the corn and the water. All right, I'm taking the hot jar out of the canner, and I'm going to ladle in 2 big heaping scoopfuls of corn. I'm going to shake this down. You don't want to pack your jars tightly. Just loosely add that corn in, and then fill it with the hot boiling water up to a 1-inch headspace at the top. And I really like that new funnel. That is really amazing. So I'm going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of canning salt. We always use canning salt instead of regular table or iodized salt. Then I'm going to debubble, and that looks perfect. I've got a 1-inch headspace. I'm going to dip the paper towel in some vinegar, white vinegar, and wipe that rim off. Add on a hot lid and a jar ring, fingertip tight, and back into the canner it goes. And then I'll repeat the process. All right, so we're on step 3. We fill the jars. They're back in the canner. And now we're going to put the top back on and start the venting process, where you normally vent for 10 minutes before you start pressure canning. So I'm putting the lid on, putting down the locking mechanism. Okay, then I'm going to press the button to let the canner know that we are ready, and it will automatically start heating the water up, and then it will set a timer for 10 minutes. And you can see here that I have 7 minutes left of venting, and the steam is coming out, working perfectly. And then once that time expires, it will beep and it will let me know that we are ready for step 5, which is the canning process. So it has beeped. I'm going to put my regulator or my weight on, press it down, and then press the start button, and the words canning appear on the digital readout, and it lets me know that it is working to get to that 10 pounds of pressure, and then it will start the canning process for 55 minutes. And this is the best part, is I don't have to stand there and watch the pressure go up and down and regulate it. It does it automatically. So for 55 minutes, I do stay near the kitchen and keep an eye on it, because this is my first time, but I was amazed at how perfectly this works. So we're down to 1 minute left, and the beeping starts and a cool icon shows up on the digital readout. So we were on step 6, which is cooling, and it may take an hour and a half, but it automatically does it itself. All right, when it's completely cool, you can take off the weight and then unlock the canner, and you can carefully take off the lid, always opening it away, the steam away from you, because it will have some steam in it. And the jars started sealing as soon as I took that lid off. There were a lot of pops. So let's look inside. Nothing broke, everything looks great. And we'll go ahead and get those jars out of the canner. And that is how you pressure can corn. I was able to process 8 pints of delicious corn in this Presto Digital Canner. And I like to use pints because it's just my husband and myself, so there's not a lot of waste. So I am really going to be using this canner throughout the year when I pressure can. Well, I really love this canner. This Presto electric canner is great. This is my first time using it. I did corn and it was so easy to use. Didn't have to watch that pressure gauge. I'm loving this. I highly recommend it. I got mine off of Amazon for about $256, somewhere in there. But it's worth every penny because small batches that I get out of my garden I can do, or I can do big batches. So this, I highly recommend this Presto electric digital canner because it does everything for you. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from it because I sure did. I did not even know these existed, so I'm real excited about this canner. And I'm going to be using it. I've got a whole bushel of green beans I'm getting ready to can. So I'm really, really excited to have it. Leave me in the comments below if you have one of these or if you're thinking about getting one, because I can't say anything bad about it. It's been great. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.